In this video, we're going to run the program. Hallelujah, right? About time. So first I'm going to go find the file directory and do something to make using the program a little easier on myself. I'm going to create a shortcut on my desktop so I don't always have to go digging for this folder. So I'm going to find it first. Go to Computer, C, that one right there. I'll right click on it. Mouse over Send To, mouse over Desktop, then left click to create the folder shortcut on the desktop. Next, I'm making sure all my other programs are closed to keep all system resources available and to prevent any outside interference in the program being run. Then I will double left click on the shortcut and then double left click on the exe. We'll enter in my username and password, which I have blocked out so that others can't see my credentials. I'll left click Sign In order to enable the actual working buttons. At this point you should have already gone through the information and instructions documents opened by these buttons here. So I won't cover that stuff. Please make note of these two notifications right here. I put these here so people would remember. Firstly, the pause break key will end the macro. In case of an unhandled exception, when the program is running and you need it to stop, these should be very infrequent, these cases, but there is an incredible amount of variability on the internet, and I can't take every scenario into account. But I've done a great deal of effort in testing, and I know that this program works quite well in most cases. And secondly, which is going to come up here in a moment, you need to do the first bibliography search and save by yourself manually. This is to make sure there are no surprise dialog boxes in Voyager when you go to run the program. I could have programmed something for the scenario, but since your bibliography numbers will be different than ours depending on what databases you have access to, I just found it easier to just manually do one because the bib number will vary depending on your location anyway. So I will click this button right now. It opens up all the programs you needed to open. When it's done, I will do my initial first manual search in Voyager. So we're going to do a search. The first loading box will pop up. It only does this the first time. And then hit save. For the second pop-up box. Now hit Control and then K and click on the link to make sure everything is connected correctly. Which it looks like it is. It's set to open up with Adobe Reader as default. Now I can just close out of this little document. Not all of Adobe Reader, just the document. Close out of the bibliography document. Now we're ready to hit go. Also make sure that there's only one tab open in Firefox too. So hit start. Now it cuts that, pastes it in Excel, paste it in there. It goes down each of these individual columns to find out how many number of 856 rows there are, so it knows how many links it needs to check. If it's already checked, which it was in this case, it will mark that down in Excel and move on to the next one. So the first step is always to see how many rows of links it needs to check. So this one only has one. Now it copies the link, since it's not verified. Copies the title. It trims and formats everything. Opens up the link. And now it's going to search with Control F. Now it's going to copy what was found, and it's going to compare what was found against what was copied from the title in the bibliography database. It marks whether it was right or wrong, and then it goes back down to the 856 column and puts the correct tag down there, and then saves the document, and then writes down everything that it found inside of the Excel spreadsheet. Now it goes through, it closes all the documents that don't need to be open, and moves on to the next one. I'm going to let this go for another minute or two. But I think you get the point. I could leave it going for a long time, but it's just going to bog down the computer because the screen recording software going at the same time as this computer, because the computer is really slow. It gets pretty choppy. But the program running by itself runs very well even on this relatively slow system. But there you go. That's what this program can do. And one last thing to stress is you definitely, before you actually do any of this, make sure you only have one tab open in Firefox. Make sure that tab is your home page that you had set up earlier. And also make sure that you're closed out of the different documents, like in the Adobe Reader and in Voyager as well, for it to work correctly.